I'm very happy to be here with all of you and to be learning more about mental health. Adele, thank you so much for that presentation. I mean, I was diagnosed with ADHD as well 3 years ago, and it's like, okay, now I understand so many things about my life, and even my diagnosis with breast cancer. I'm like, aha, there is definitely a correlation there. So it's just, I think getting diagnosed, sometimes people say, I don't need to get diagnosed, but I think for me, it was so important because, I'm like, okay, then I'm not, just losing it out of nowhere. And like, I've been putting so many things into practice, but I still feel this way. What is happening? So having the diagnosis really helped me to understand myself a lot more. And that is actually when I came across the work of Dr. Gabor Maté on, I think the first book I read was Scattered Minds, which really spoke to me about ADHD, because I wanted to understand a little bit more about, okay, what is this? What is happening? And I didn't want to take medication because I had breast cancer before, and I'm like, okay, I tried to do everything holistically, so let me see what I can do so that I don't take the medication that the psychiatrist wanted me to. So yeah, I found his work, and yeah, and I really, really love it. And the approach has helped me a lot to understand the core issues of my ADHD and many other issues in my life. So yeah, but today we're here to talk about the radical remission factors. So I will be sharing with you a little bit of that, and then if I have more time, then if it's okay with you, I will speak a little bit about my experience with the radical remission factors and my journey with ADHD as well. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. Share. Can you see my screen? Are we good? All right. Okay, so let me just skip this one. So just to give you a brief introduction of radical remission factors, this was found by Dr. Kelly Turner. She wanted to do her dissertation on cases of spontaneous remissions around the world. These were people who have done a lot of conventional treatments and nothing worked, or were patients who had a very advanced cancer diagnosis and didn't do any of the conventional treatments, and then they found the holistic way. So for about a year, she went around the world and she interviewed all these people who were able to heal holistically. She found about 75 factors that all of these people have done, and she found that there were 10 in common. So this is why she created this the radical remission project and the radical remission approach. And there is 10 factors that she found that all of them were doing. And just to clarify that the radical remission approach is not against any conventional treatments. It's they believe that the radical remission approach and the factors will actually help throughout someone's treatments, that it will help enhance the immune system. And, we want the immune system to be working whenever we're doing treatments, or if people are not doing treatments. And also, it is not only for cancer patients, this could be used for absolutely anybody who's going through any sort of conditions or pathologies, or even just in prevention. And I think this could also be very helpful for people with ADHD. I think these factors can be beneficial to absolutely anybody. So here we go with the factors. So we have, and there is no order to any of this, and none of them is more important than the other. It's just like a combination of all of them has been seen and has been proven to help all these people. So we have having strong reasons for living, empowering yourself, changing your diet, herbs and supplements, increasing positive emotions, releasing suppressed emotions. That's my favorite factor that I will talk a little bit more about. Following your intuition, increasing social support, spiritual connection, exercise, and movement. So I will go a little bit into each one of them. So here we have empowering yourself. That is such a very important factor because it gives you the power to take care of your health. And this is what all of these radical remission survivors spoke about, that they were on the driving seat. They were the ones making the decisions. They were going to the doctor, but they weren't letting the doctors make the decisions for them. They were actually communicating with the doctors. Okay, this is the treatment that you want to give me. Let me go home and do my research and see if this is what will work for me or not. But they were active participants in their own healing journey, not just to be, you know, the good patient of, yes, doctor, I'll do whatever you want. I have no idea what's happening here. So I give my life in your hands. So empowering yourself is such an important factor to really just take care of your life, be the captain of your journey. This is for me, and we are the ones who know ourselves more. Yes, doctors have years and years of academic studies, but we know ourselves way more than anybody else. So empowering yourself and making the decisions for yourself is very, very important. And this is what all of these radical remission survivors have done. Then we have embracing social support, having a community of people who are around you, that support you, that believe in you, and that are lifting yourself. It's so, so important. And this is a tricky one, because a lot of us we believe that we have that social support and we have that social connection, but are we actually receiving that love? Are we actually allowing ourselves to receive that support that we have from people? We can say, I'm surrounded by people. I have so many people that are taking care of me and they're helping me, but do we know how to receive? Do we know how to accept that love and that support from everybody? So these, the radical remission survivors, they spoke about learning how to be okay of receiving and how to receive love. And through having that social support and that connection and that community, it actually helped them to see that they are worthy of love. They deserve to be treated the way they're treated by their loved ones, that it's okay to just release, let go, and accept. And through the social support, then that's how they are able to accept love and accept help. And by doing that, we are also able to accept the self-love that we have for ourselves. So this one, it's a tricky one, because we believe sometimes, yeah, I have so many people around me. Why do I feel so empty? Maybe because you need to learn how to receive, how to accept that love that's around you. So embracing social support, another very important factor. Then, of course, releasing suppressed emotions. This is one of the factors that for me was the most difficult one, because I believed everything was fine in my life. I don't have anything to release. I had a happy childhood. I had a happy life. Everything is perfect. But once we start doing the work and we start connecting with ourselves, then we start realizing that there's so much, especially women. I mean, what do they tell us? You got to be good. You have to be this decent, sweet girl. Don't speak up. Do whatever you have to do. You need to love everybody. You need to please everybody around you. If you're a good girl, you're going to succeed in life and everybody's going to love you. So what do? We suppress our emotions. We don't express anger, because if we express anger, we are not accepted in society, or we're going to be punished, or we're going to be looked like, oh, you're such a bad girl, or where are your manners? And we just suppress all of these emotions, and we're just supposed to be the good little girl who's going to help absolutely everybody. And we start in childhood and we carry that throughout our lives, but we are suppressing so much emotion. We're not even being who we are. We're just being what society wants us to be. And from working with women, I've seen this over and over, like all the time. Women are just this perfect women who have everything in order and organized, and everything is just perfectly aligned in their lives, but actually they're breaking down inside because they can't keep going that way. And that's when your body is going to start speaking to you. So working through emotions, it's so important. And this is one of my favorite things that I actually work with all of my clients. And of course, I do all the protocol that we're supposed to be following, but addressing the suppressed emotions is key for me in any healing. Then we move on to deepening your spiritual connection. This is also another thing that a lot of radical remission a lot of radical remission survivors have done, they found that connection to something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a higher power or any sort of affiliation with our religion or philosophy or anything like that, just something that brings you peace and inner connection. It could be music, it could be dancing, it could be connecting with nature, it could be just petting your dog, being around your friends, anything that brings this sense of calmness and connection with yourself. And this is key also to healing, because once you are able to bring this calmness into your life, then you're able to look at your life in a more and with a different perspective. And you're also starting to give more love and attention to yourself once we are able to calm down our nervous systems, of course. And yes, of course, there's survivors that speak about connecting to God, connecting with the universe, connecting with nature, connecting with a higher source, and finding this type of faith have really helped them into connecting with themselves and to finding a deeper healing, and to understanding that they have a reason for being here. And, having a reason to be here is such an important thing, which is actually another factor. I don't know if that's the next one, but that's another factor of radical remission, having strong reasons for living. And I think we can find this also through spirituality and connecting with that essence that's within us. Then we have, of course, increasing positive emotions. This is another thing that the radical remission survivors have done. Just being surrounded by people who they love, being surrounded by positive energy and doing the things that they like, and just filling themselves with gratitude, that really helped them to increase those positive emotions. And we know that when we increase positive emotions, we are increasing those happy neurotransmitters in our lives, and all of that is helping us also with our immune system. And when our immune system is happy, then we're able to heal better, and we're able to get better and progress much faster into our healing. Then we have exercise and movement, which also kind of increases positive emotions when we do exercise and when we move. Movement is life. Life is movement. We need to keep moving. That's how life works. And so just moving your body however you can. It doesn't have to be going for a marathon or doing, all of these crazy exercises. It's really just getting out of bed and walking to the mailbox, or if you live in an apartment building, maybe taking the steps if you're allowed to, if you're able to, depending on your condition, and just finding some sort of movement not only helps you to increase your immune system, but it also, movement helps you release many things. It could also help you release trapped emotions if somatic work as well. But just movement, we need to move. If we stay still, then there's no progress. So movement, exercise is key for absolutely everybody. And this is something that they've done also as radical remission survivors. Then we have, of course, changing your diet. I think today we eat so poorly. We are giving so much garbage to ourselves, and we're not even thinking like, is what I'm eating going to help my cells be better or be bad, or are they going to turn against me? We don't think about these things, and we need to be treating our little billions of cells inside of us with so much love and say, let me feed you, let me give you what you're needing. So the radical remission survivors, they completely changed their diet to most of them to a whole plant-based diet. They completely eliminated meat, dairy, sugar, wheat, and what else? I think I said the most. The ones that kept eating meat, they made sure that it was organically farmed, and that they really made sure where their meat was coming from, and they would only eat red meat. So that's very important in the healing journey when we have a chronic condition. very, very important to pay attention to what are the foods that we're putting into our body. We need to be filling it with antioxidants and food that are going to be helping us fight the disease, not help the disease get bigger and bigger. I remember when I was diagnosed, the first question that I asked my oncologist was, should I change my diet? She said, no, continue eating everything. And I'm like, what about alcohol? No, don't change anything. Keep living your life as it is. Luckily, I was studying nutrition at that time, but for just private reasons, personal reasons. But I already knew, I'm like, wait a minute, diet has something to do with it. And she's just telling me to continue eating that way. No. So yeah, but it's not because they just have not been educated on it. They don't take nutrition courses. So it's not intentional that they tell you this. It's just, I mean, we need more information. We need more awareness in the conventional world, so that they know that nutrition does play a big role in healing. And we need people to be eating healthier. We need to raise awareness on the way people eat today. And even with ADHD, I'm sure, Adele, you would agree that even the foods that we eat could impact ADHD and the way that, you know, we're dealing with certain things. So change your diet. Radical remission survivors have used it, and they've seen, there's people who have only changed their diet, and they've seen a huge amount of progress in their healing journey. So changing your diet, it's key, important, very, very important. Then we have following your intuition. But do we even know what our intuition is today? It's just shut down. But I think when we go through difficult times in our lives, our nervous system does activate your gut feeling. So because it's related to your gut and the brain, these are correlated. And when you are when you're facing a critical condition or a difficult situation, your nervous system would want to fight for you. And sometimes, mostly, your gut instincts, your instincts will be activated. And then, you know, we just need to learn how to listen to them. Not a lot of people know how to listen to them, but luckily all these radical remission survivors, they talk about having this gut feeling that they just knew. They just had this feeling that they had to follow a different path, or they had a feeling that they had to change their diet. They felt that gut feeling, and they describe it very vividly, like, I knew that I had to follow that. And if they went against their gut feeling, then they knew that, wait, something is off. Maybe I should just listen to what I need to, I need to listen to my body. And our body is so amazing that it gives us signals all the time. We just got used to not listening to it. I mean, nobody teaches us that we need to listen to our bodies, right? But luckily, the body has such an amazing way of functioning that eventually, hopefully, we will all listen to our body. So gut feeling is so important. So yeah, following your intuition, very important. Then we have herbs and supplements. This is one of the factors that we need to be careful about, because we can't just go online and start looking at what herbs and supplements I should be taking. It really depends on who you are, what your condition is, what medications you're taking. Also, like hormonal, like in what state of your hormonal cycle you are. Very, very important to be careful with herbs and supplements. This is the one that I would encourage everybody to seek professional help, to know which supplements and herbs are gonna work better for them. But yeah, all of these things there's herbs and supplements that have shown to completely kill cancer cells. And yes, there's not a lot of studies on it, but people who have taken the supplements, they swear by it. They say, I took the supplement, I took this herb, and it completely healed me. So there is also supplements and herbs that will help your immune system. There's herbs and supplements that will clean your liver. I mean, everything that you do in your body, it's eventually going to help raise your immune system. And when your immune system works better, then everything is more harmonized and working better in your system. Then we have the last factor, which is having strong reasons for living. That's one of the things that a lot of these radical remission survivors have done, just finding a strong reason to live. Because if we don't have that strong reason, then why do we even want to fight? Why do we want to Why do we want to change our diet? Why do we want to do more movement? Why am I here? If I don't have a strong reason to live, then I might as well just go. So that's one of the things I really work on. I work on usually the first sessions with my clients, like, what are your reasons for living? Because if somebody doesn't want to, I don't want to pressure you. I don't want to, tell you to live when you don't want to. It has to come from within. And when you find that reason, it could be your children, it could be your grandkids, it can be your parents, it could be your partner, it could be your dogs, it could be absolutely anything. But it's important to find that reason. And the best reason, I think, to live is just to find that love for yourself. It's because I love myself and I want to experience life and I want to experience everything that life has to offer. But sometimes it's easier to find external reasons to live than ourselves, and that's okay. There's so many ways to go about it. So, how am I in time? Do I have enough time? Okay. So yeah, so these are the top, the 10 healing factors with that Dr. Kelly Turner found, and she's seen that this works for a lot of other patients that are not just cancer patients, but autoimmune diseases, chronic diseases, and just like I said before, it could be used for prevention, it could be for absolutely anybody. And so yeah. And what else can I say? And yeah, so in my journey, like the ones I came across Dr. Kelly Turner's work. So I was diagnosed in 2020 with breast cancer, and I was a good patient. I was just going to the doctor, and yes, just do whatever you need to do. I believe in you. Do the biopsy, do the scans, do everything. I don't understand cancer. You do. So whatever you say, I'll do. And so I did the surgery, and then after the first round of chemo, I think that awoke into my gut feeling. I was like, there's something weird about this. I don't want to keep doing this. Why am I putting toxins in my body to prevent cancer from coming back? This just doesn't make sense to me. And this is just my personal story. I believe people should follow the treatments that they want to follow and they believe is best for them. Chemotherapy has helped a lot of women. And for me, it was just because my cancer was early stages. So they removed the tumor and then everything was clear. So they told me for prevention reasons, we're going to do chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and hormonal therapy. So I just said, yes, let's do everything. And it was then that I was like, wait, but I don't have anything right now. Why am I putting chemo in my body? Like, I want to understand first what happened to my body so that then I can prevent cancer from coming back. So I've asked my oncologist, why did this happen to me? I'm 30 years old and there is no genetic predisposition to cancer in my family. So why? And her answer was, because you're a woman and you're unlucky. And I was like, okay, sure, I get that, but can you give me like, how does the body work, the functioning of it? What are the causes? And she said, just don't worry about it. We're going to do everything we need to do. And so then I was like, no, I need to understand why. So I went to see 4 different oncologists. I went to see the head the director of the oncology department in another city, and he was supposed to be one of the greatest, right? So I go and I ask him, like, I just want to know why, what happened? And same answer. I don't know if they all were taught this sentence at school: you're a woman and you're unlucky. I'm like, okay, can you give me something more? Nobody had really explained it to me. So the other doctors, same situation. Then after the first round of chemo, I was like, I need to understand. I can't just sit still. Maybe that was my ADHD trying to, like, you need to understand what's happening. So I started reading, I started doing so much research, and I found this clinic in the Swiss German part of Switzerland. And I went to see them and I'm like, listen, I know I'm a woman and I'm unlucky, but could you explain me what happens to the body so cancer happens? And there they explained me everything. They were like, honey, your immune system is almost non-existent right now. You have been in chronic stress for so long. And they did a bunch of different tests. And I had leaky gut, irritable bowel syndrome, And this was just the beginning of it. Then there were viruses that were active, there were parasites, there were so many things happening in my body. I wasn't sleeping also because my previous job was very stressful. So then they explained me how the immune system worked, and they explained me the nervous system. They explained me how we need to absorb nutrients and all of this. I'm like, okay, now I know what I can do to prevent it from happening again. So I started doing all of these factors and the radical remission factors without even knowing it. So I changed my diet. I started exercising. I started connecting myself more with people that I care about. Luckily it was during COVID. So, you know, you have the opportunity to say, no, I don't want to get sick, so people don't come to my house. So you select the people that come to your house. So little by little, I started doing all of these things, and I felt so much better. And then a friend told me, have you read Radical Remission, the book? And I'm like, no, I haven't. So I read the book, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing all of these things and I'm feeling so much better. And when I told my oncologist that I didn't want to do the chemo anymore, she told me, you're crazy, you're gonna die. And I'm like, you know what? Watch me. In my head, I'm like, I don't think so. You know, just I think I'm gonna be fine. And I even got into an argument with my with the surgeon, because she also told me, are you crazy? You're gonna die. If you were my daughter, I would, you know, I would make sure you get the treatment. And I'm like, well, I'm not your daughter, so I'm gonna do what I need to do. And then I gave them some lectures on nutrition and the stress and everything. So they told me that cancer was going to come back within a year or two. And it's been 5 years, and I keep going just to do the tests every year. And they're like, so what is it that you did actually? Can you tell us? I did a combination of different treatments and therapies at the clinic. And then after the clinic, I continued, and I still do certain things. And it completely changed my life. So these factors, you know, we have it in us. It's intuitive. We don't, you know, all of these people, also the people that have done all of these things, they did it intuitively. They knew that, one, they had a reason to live. Then they trusted their God, and they were just using common sense. If I am surrounded by positive energy, then I'm going to be better. I'm going to remove everything that's stressing me, because I don't need to do that anymore. Why am I doing that? And throughout this whole journey, I was able to, you know, I had the diagnosis with ADHD 3 years ago. So that was 2 years after the cancer diagnosis. And that diagnosis also helped me to see, who am I really? And that through the compassionate inquiry approach, I was able to connect with my true essence, with who is that little girl who got lost in the way? Who is she? Who was this little woman who had no idea how to survive in life, but because of the conditions that society puts on us, and we have to repress who we are. And I'm thankful for cancer, because thanks to cancer, I was able to find my authenticity. And thanks to all of these factors that I was able to listen to, I mean, I was also surrounded by amazing therapists. And I think once you start to listen to your body and listen to your intuition, okay, something is off here, and you connect with that inner power within yourself, you're just going to start seeing synchronicities in your life. And you're going to be sent the right people in your life. You're going to, like, I could stay hours and hours to tell you how incredible the people that I met in my life after the cancer diagnosis. And when I said, no, I'm going to be the captain of my ship, I'm not going to let anybody else control it. When I said that, things just started to unfold, and meeting people and learning things. And it's just, you know, an incredible journey. And the radical remission factors, when I met the people at the training, it was just incredible people. So first thing, if I can say to anybody, is listen to yourself, come back to yourself, connect with that essence that is within you. And whatever condition, whatever pathology, whatever situation you're going through in your life, come back to yourself, because you have all the answers. All the answers are there. So yeah, that's a little bit of me and the story, and the 10 healing factors. I hope that was okay with everybody. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Celia, for that beautiful presentation, and to really vulnerably share your own story. That was really powerful to listen to. I would want to invite actually both you and Adele as well at some point to just drop your details into the chat box, so that if anybody wanted to contact you, please share your websites and your contact details with us. And does anybody have a question for Celia?
I have a question for Celia Eleftheria, if I may ask her one
Of course,
question.
Rosie. Thank
Yes.
you.
So Celia, first of all, I believe that you are very, very brave and at the same time very fortunate also, because not every human has that instinct, what you call gut feeling. Not every human can feel the intuition, because the moment one is diagnosed with a serious illness, we become mentally paralyzed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a general human emotion. And no matter how much others tell, no matter what doctor is telling, because we know that those emotions are very toxic for us. Nevertheless, we are unable to break that cycle of thought, which is that loop our mind get into, because we are thinking about the future constantly.
Yeah.
And nowadays, in the age of social media, when we are quick to go to Google and we instantly start searching, what is happening, what are the probabilities I will survive, what are the remedies available, we start looking at the data, figures, and all. So
Yeah.
people who are very apprehensive, or generally people become apprehensive when they are going through this stage of life, uh, they feel more negative emotion. They feel, oh my god, it's so difficult to survive. And during such state, it is so difficult to maintain your mental stability. So please help everybody, whosoever is listening this particular session, watching it, and people who have come to join this session with the hope that they would be enlightened by knowing what is the secret of your mental stability, and how did you come out of that, you know thoughts loop, that loop that you have built in your mind.
Yeah, thank you. That is such an important remark, because it's true. Not everybody has that privilege, and I am very thankful for having that privilege to be able to connect with that part of myself and to become so resilient. And I don't have an answer that could work for anybody, but what worked for everybody. I mean, but what worked for me, it was the moment that I got the diagnosis. I went through all of these phases. I was completely lost. I was like, I need to understand. And I started reading books. And I think I read about 5 books in 3 days, because I just really wanted to know. I didn't sleep. And I was getting angry at my ex-partner. Like, why aren't you helping me reading these books? Like, I'm going to die and nobody's going to help me. Like, I was going through all of that until I think it was, and I think really it was the stillness that I was able to have during the first round of chemo. That's when I was sitting on a chair. I can't move. I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking. And I think moments of stillness is what is going to help you connect with yourself and your inner thing and your fears and your pain. And there I started crying. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And then I'm like, well, you can't move, so you're going to have to sit and cry. So I sat there and I cried and I cried and I cried. I didn't even know why, because there were so many things in my head, but I felt the pain that I needed to feel. And I think that that is one of the things that we all run away from. We don't want to feel pain. And our nervous system also doesn't want us to feel pain. So we're going to try to run away and we're going to distract ourselves. Let me try to get more information and more information and more information. The thing is that the answer is really just here. We have to sit down, feel the pain. We have to feel it somehow. If we need to laugh, laugh about it. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to punch something, punch something. But that pain is the key to healing. That pain is the key to waking up and saying, okay, I felt the pain and I understand it. Because the pain could be, we could choose to suffer with that pain, or we can choose to empower ourselves with that pain and say, okay, enough is enough. And I think when we have certain conditions, certain pathologies, and I'm not speaking for all pathologies, but most of the ones today, this is just because we've had enough. We have been fooling ourselves too much for so long. And if we're going to speak about women, there is a rise in autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune diseases, from what I've learned, is really just repressing our emotions, repressing who we are, trying to adapt to a society that is just not, it's just not sustainable for us. And I think, if it answers your question, just a moment of stillness and feeling the emotions and the pain that is within us. Because once we feel that, then we will find the answer. And that's how I found my answers. And I still practice that. There are days that I get very distracted and I get very disconnected from my mission. And I know it, but now I know that, okay, girl, you got to go home and cry. And I sit and I literally sit on the floor and I make sure my phone is away and everything is away. And sometimes it takes me time and I want to run away. I just want to, no, just go outside. Just call your mom. Just do this. Just do that. But no, I'm like, no, you're going to sit and you're going to feel it. And it could take 3 minutes. It's so simple, but we're so afraid of the pain. Pain is our friend. Pain teaches us to be stronger and to grow. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question. I just felt inspired to say that.
But I'm sure you have inspired many people today. So thank you so much for your insightful presentation and answer. Of course, each one to their own. Each one have their ways to survive on this earth. And it's a mindset also.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.